Welcome to another show. Today is our second look at the presidential debates. First will be Ronald Reagan and Walter Mondale. Second will be Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I want to discuss why I think Reagan won his bid for re-election while Trump lost his bid for re-election. Before we begin, I want to stress that I'm not endorsing any candidate and I'm not trying to influence anyone's vote. I don't care if you identify as a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or whatever. So having said that, let's begin. The United States presidential election of 1984, American presidential election held on November 6th, in which Republican Ronald Reagan was elected to a second term, defeating Democrat Walter Mondale, a former U.S. vice president. Reagan won 49 states en route to amassing 525 electoral votes to Mondale's 13. One of the biggest landslides in U.S. election history. The election was also notable for being the first time a major party had a woman on its ticket, Geraldine Ferraro. Mondale's running mate. The Democratic ticket was slammed as Fritz and It's. Well, I can't use the actual word here on YouTube. It's had a T in front of it. The word It's with a T in front of it. Okay, that's as close as I can come to saying it without getting a strike. But anyway, critics of Mondale's choice would describe the ticket as such. During the primaries, Reagan faced no opposition and was easily renominated by the Republican Party. On the Democratic side, however, the 1984 campaign was notable. Jesse Jackson, an eloquent African-American preacher who had been a young activist in the civil rights movement in the 1960s, announced his candidacy for the Democratic presidential nomination in 1983. At the time, no one believed he would win either nomination or election, but his public stature guaranteed him equal opportunity to compete seriously for the nomination. In addition to Jackson, the Democratic primary field was packed by presidential wannabes, including Reuben Askew of Florida, George McGovern, Alan Cranston, Gary Hart, and Ernest Hollings. Mondale was the pre-odds favorite as the former vice president, and John Glenn was considered to be the most serious challenger. Glenn ran a lackluster campaign, and Gary Hart rose to the forefront. Walter Mondale had to make a comeback, which he did with his Where's the Beef campaign.
When I hear your new ideas, I'm reminded of that ad, Where's the Beef?
Gary Hart was caught with his pants down, literally, with the Miss South Carolina World Beauty Pageant winner Donna Rice.
Believe me, if my intent was to have a relationship with a woman, particularly a very attractive one, I certainly wouldn't have gone about it this way. I invited press scrutiny.
Mondale made history by choosing his running mate, Geraldine Ferraro, the first woman selected by a major political party for its presidential ticket. At the time, Ferraro was a three-term congresswoman from New York. It was hoped that her nomination would galvanize the campaign. It did initially, but the Democratic ticket was derailed almost immediately by a month-long controversy over the finances of Ferraro and her husband, a New York real estate operator. The Mondale-Ferraro ticket attempted without success to find an issue that would resonate with voters. There seemed to be some hope for the Mondale-Ferraro ticket during the first presidential debate, where Reagan appeared tired. But Reagan came roaring back with his calm, cool, and collected personality. He seemed down-home and folksy and very likable, and even got Mondale laughing with his response to the question about his age.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience.
The results for this election, this was the first time since 1960 that the voter turnout percentage rose. Reagan was re-elected in the November 6th election in an electoral and popular vote landslide, winning 49 states by the time the ballots were finished counting on election night. He won a record 525 electoral votes, a total of 538 possible, received 58.8% of the popular vote. Despite Ferraro's selection, 55% of women who voted did so for Reagan, and his 54 to 61% of the Catholic vote, the highest for a Republican candidate in history. Mondale's 13 electoral college votes marked the lowest total of any major presidential candidate since Alf Landon's 1936 loss to Franklin D. Roosevelt, and the fewest of any Democrat since Stephen A. Douglas claimed 12 in the 1860 election, as well as the worst for a Democrat in a two-way race. This was the second largest share of the Electoral College since 1820, and the most raw electoral votes received by a candidate. This is the last time any candidate won the popular vote by double digits.
No,
He doesn't
you're
want
a
to answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why
because
wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
the question
you want to put a
is
lot of
the
new
question
Supreme Court
is
justices,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you
Who
shut
is
up,
your-
man?
Now let's compare that to Donald Trump's bid for re-election against Joe Biden. There were initially supposed to be 3 debates. However, Donald Trump came down with the COVID virus and refused to debate unless it would be in person. As a result, there were only 2 debates. In 2019, Trump claimed that the 2016 debates were biased and suggested that he may not participate in further CPD-hosted debates.
Moving on to the Trump
And
and
you ought to be
Biden
careful with
records.
them. They'll overthrow you.
When a
in 2
president,
seconds.
I'm going to ask a question.
In December 2019, Frank J. Fahrenkopf Jr., co-chairman of the CPD, met with Brad Parscale, Trump's campaign chairman, to discuss Trump's comments. Fahrenkopf said the president wanted to debate, but they had concerns about whether or not to do it with a commission. Did Trump have a good reason to suggest certain debates were biased, or was he simply trying to avoid debating Joe Biden? Remember this moment during the Romney-Obama debates. Since Biden's successful nomination in the Democratic primaries, Trump had attempted to cast doubt over Biden's abilities, claiming that he was suffering from dementia and that he was taking performance-enhancing drugs in the primaries. Trump called for Biden to be drug tested before the debate. Biden mocked the idea. Trump also claimed that Biden would use a hidden electronic earpiece with a debate, demanding that Biden's ears be searched. Biden declined. Debate was divided into 6 segments: Trump's and Biden's records, the Supreme Court, the COVID-19 pandemic, race and violence in cities, election integrity, and the economy. Each was approximately 15 minutes in length. Wallace introduced each topic and gave each candidate 2 minutes to speak, followed by facilitated discussion between them. The allotted time was generally not upheld. Trump repeatedly interrupted and criticized Biden during Biden's answers to the initial questions, as well as during the facilitated discussions, and was chastised by Wallace several times for doing so. On several occasions, Wallace pleaded with Trump to respect the rules and norms of the debate. At one point, Biden refused to answer a question given by Wallace, leading to Trump interrupting him. Biden then remarked to Trump, "Will you shut up, man?"
We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch.
All right, gentlemen,
18%. China ate your lunch, Joe. And no wonder your son goes in and he takes out.
Biden also said in a response to allegations that he would implement socialist medicine, "The party is me. I am the Democratic Party right now. The Democrat platform is what I, in fact, approved of." Additionally, Biden called Trump a clown during the discussion about health care plans. So Reagan's performance came off as fun, humorous, and lighthearted. He was in command of that second debate, as Trump had been in the first debate with Hillary Clinton. Mondale never gained a footing in that debate at all. In fact, he was even laughing at Reagan's joke. By contrast, Trump came off as mean-spirited, angry, and was not relatable to the public at all. In fact, he made Biden look like a victim of bullying. This turned off most people who viewed the debate and left them cold on the incumbent president, who essentially blew his chance for re-election. Election night, November 3rd, ended without a clear winner, as many state results were too close to call, and millions of votes remained uncounted, including in the battleground states of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. Results were delayed in these states due to local rules on counting mail-in ballots. The ballots became particularly prevalent in the 2020 election due to the widespread outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Over roughly 67 million mail-in ballots were submitted, over doubling the previous election's 33.5 million. In a victory declared by midnight, Trump won the swing state of Florida by over 3 percentage points, an increase from his 1.2 percentage point margin in 2016, having seen significant gains in support among the Latino community in Miami-Dade County. Shortly after 12:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Biden made a short speech in which he urged his supporters to be patient while the votes are counted. He said he believed he was on track to win this election. Shortly before 2:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Trump made a speech in a room full of supporters, falsely asserting that he had won the election and calling for a stop to all vote counting, saying that continued counting was a fraud on the American people, and we will be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Biden campaign denounced these attempts, claiming that the Trump campaign was engaging in a naked effort to take away the democratic rights of American citizens. Later, it was confirmed that Biden also had flipped the traditionally reliable Republican states of Arizona and Georgia en route to a final victory in the Electoral College of 306 to 232. In winning the popular vote with more than 81 million votes, Biden garnered more votes than any presidential candidate in U.S. history. That Trump's total of more than 74 million votes was the second highest count ever recorded indicated the passionate involvement of both sides of the electorate in this election. That was our show for today. What do you think? Do you find that the debates helped or hurt the candidates in either of these elections or any of these elections? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And while you're at it, I'd be honored if you subscribe to my channel, press the button to stay informed, and check out my Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter franchise also in the comments section below. Until next time, this is Kevin Gibbons saying, live long and prosper. May the force be with you. Keep reaching for the stars.